Shelter Insurance has covered a lot of miles and a lot of cars and drivers since 1946. We like knowing we have you covered, so you can just sit back and enjoy the ride. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Ask Agent Mark Manning about Shelter's auto insurance discounts.
Well, it's that time to Let's Talk Sports. That's what we do. Bud Black on Sports. I'm David Black, filling in for Bud Black, and I will be for the next several years. The program always brought to you by the Bank of England Mortgage Company. Kenny Thaxton out at the Village Mall. What a job Kenny does. If you're looking for a mortgage for your home, you're in the market to buy a home and you don't really know how to borrow the money to get that home, talk to Kenny Thaxton and let him work you through the process. It's easy. It's real easy. If you're thinking about refinancing your home, the rates are at a position right now where it may be very affordable for you to look into refinancing. You've had a loan for 4 or 5 years. You have it at a higher interest rate. Check with Kenny. See if he can save you money on your monthly payment. That's what Kenny does at the Bank of England Mortgage Company, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender. His phone number is 870-495-3931, and he brings you the sports show, Let's Talk Sports with Bud Black. And I've got a couple of things that I want to hit on. Man, what a football game this past Monday night. The national championship game between Alabama and Georgia, two SEC powers going after it. They couldn't get it settled in 60 minutes. That's what made it such a great football game. In 60 minutes, the 15-minute quarters, 4 quarters, 20-20 at the end of that time. Alabama missing a crucial game-winning chip shot field goal at the end that should have put the game, away at that time. It didn't happen, so you go to overtime, and then you see what happens in overtime. Georgia, because of Alabama's defense, they play great. Georgia has to kick a long field goal. They get the field goal, 50-something yards, I believe, and looks as though they're in control. And then the first play from scrimmage, Alabama loses a ton of yardage. I mean, just a ton of yardage. They're way backed up, way out of field goal range. And lo and behold, the freshman quarterback that they inserted at the half throws a 40-something yard touchdown. Alabama wins 26-23 in a classic college football game. And that's kind of what the playoff system is designed to do, is to get two great teams together in great football games. And it was just that. It was a knockdown, drag-out, great football game from both teams. Too bad, the old cliche, too bad somebody had to lose. But the SEC did win. The SEC did lose. Alabama wins the football game. Alabama never led during the first 60 minutes of the game. Never had a lead during the game. They only led after the last play in the overtime. Win it 26-23. Now, here's what's trending on social media as we speak. Jalen Hurts, the starting quarterback for Alabama, who had a record like 25 or 26-2, coming into the game, led his offense to 0 points during the first half. Coach Nick Saban made an adjustment at halftime. He elected to go with a true freshman quarterback, Tua, and I can't pronounce his last name, and I won't try to. But I think the kid is from Hawaii. He's a great quarterback, and he led the Crimson Tide back to victory. Jalen Hurts was a class act. He supported Tua all the way through. He was in on every timeout when they came together. He was very supportive of the young quarterback. But it's kind of tough, and I know that Hurts said that he was glad to win, and it's a team game. But in the biggest game of your life, when you're told you're probably not good enough to help us win this second half, to help us win the game, we're not going to use you anymore. Well, what happens then is you really have some hurt feelings, and here's what I think is going to happen, and it's trending again all over social media, that Jalen Hurts may transfer. I mean, a 2-year starting quarterback, and everybody expected this guy to be the quarterback for the next couple of years. Now they're talking about him transferring. Greg McElroy was on the Dan Patrick Show. He's a former quarterback at Alabama, and he's a commentator now for ESPN. He says it's very likely that the guy could possibly transfer to Texas. Guys from Texas, and who knows, Jalen Hurts, every quarterback, and I saw Coach Saban yesterday morning, the day after the game, talk about how every quarterback's a competitor, every football player's a competitor. Everybody wants to play. So if you are a competitor and you think that you may not get a chance to win that job back, and even if you do get a chance to win that job back, you've always got looking over your shoulder about the other guy. And take the young guy, for example. Lane Kiffin, former offensive coordinator, he also said on the Dan Patrick Show that he thought that Tua was going to transfer had he not played a big role in the bowl game. When you've got two great quarterbacks in today's market, today's society, quarterbacks don't want to wait their turn. If you're a freshman and you're playing behind a sophomore and the sophomore's your starting quarterback, more than likely you're not going to get an opportunity. Well, Tua did get an opportunity, and now Jalen Hurts may be the odd man out at Texas. It'll be interesting to watch over the course of the next several days, not only over the course of the next several months, but it'll be interesting to watch. I mean, might be something that Hurts could transfer in the next day or two. I'm sure he'll stick around and go through spring practice and see what happens there. Whoever is the starting quarterback, if they name one in the spring, I think the other one will transfer this summer. There's no doubt in my mind I think that'll happen. I also want to talk a little bit about Arkansas Razorback, not recruiting, but coaching staff. Coach Chad Morris is assembling a monster. He gets a guy named Jeff Traylor, who has worked with him before, SMU guy for a couple of years, for 1 year, been at Texas for a couple of years, offensive coordinator type job. Who is Jeff Traylor? Jeff Traylor is a world-famous high school football coach, just like Chad Morris was. So they're very closely connected. Traylor coached, among other places, at Gilmer, Texas. Gilmer, Texas is a place where our superintendent here at the high school, Dr. Larry Bennett, was also superintendent at, and I've heard him talk about Traylor and what a great person that this guy is. Traylor was 175-26 in his years in coaching high school football in Texas. This guy's a winner. He's been hired as the assistant head coach at Arkansas, and it's a big, big hire. But the biggest hire, people think, is the hiring of John Chavis. Well, who is John Chavis? I can tell you who he is. He is a defensive coordinator that has been in our league, in this league, for the last 29 years. Spent a lot of years at Tennessee, was at LSU for a few years, defensive coordinator at Tennessee after moving up from defensive line coach, defensive coordinator at Texas A&M. Of course, when someone gets fired, all your assistant coaches are looking for jobs too, guys looking for a job, and they have retained the services of John Chavis, who in the field is considered one of the brilliant defensive coordinators in the country. You've been an SEC coaching for 29 years, you're doing something right. And then the other one that I wanted to talk about was the hiring and the keeping of Barry Lunny Jr. I think it's great that Chad Morris would do that. I think it's a big plus for his program to have somebody that's close to the high school coaches around the state of Arkansas. When you start talking about Barry Lunny Sr., Barry Lunny Jr., big hire for the Hogs, a big job opportunity for Lunny to get to stay. I think it's a great opportunity for him, and I think it's a great move from Chad Morris. That's about all we got in the sports world. Alabama, look for Jalen Hurts or Tua, whatever the guy's last name is, to transfer sometime in the summer. We'll see how that works out. And the Hogs trying to get that program back on its feet. I'm David Black for Bud Black on Sports, brought to you by the Bank of England. Thanks. Until next time, so long. WRMC Medical Complex in Newport, and Dr. Rob Emery joins us, my friend. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you. Glad to be here.
We want to find out a little bit about Dr. Emery. A lot of folks in Newport know Dr. Emery. A lot of folks in Newport have used Dr. Emery for years. But first of all, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about background, education, where you came from. Tell us a little bit about Rob Emery.
All right. I grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and went to high school there and went to college at Hendrix College in Conway. So that's how I made the jump over to Arkansas. And from there, I went to UAMS Medical School and did my residency at UAMS, and then I came right to Batesville from there, and I've been in Batesville for 20 years now.
Wow, and coming over to Newport at WRMC here for since we've been open, and I know you've got a lot of patients here. I want to get into urology because a lot of folks don't know about urology and what a urologist does, and kind of explain to us what your day-to-day operation is, and what do urologists do? What do you do, Dr. Emery?
Well, that's a good question. A lot of people don't know, and a lot of people know a whole lot more than they want to know. But a urologist it's a surgical specialty, so it's kind of like ENT and orthopedics. It just has to do with the genital urinary tract. So what I do is I see folks in clinic 2 days a week, and then I'm in surgery 2 days a week. So we deal. And a lot of people think urology is kind of like the male gynecologist.
Okay.
And although there's some truth to that statement, about 40% of my patients are female.
Is that right?
So we do kidney stones, we do prostate cancer, we do kidney cancer, bladder cancer, urinary issues. And so, you know, women get kidney stones and women get kidney and bladder cancer, and so, you know, I do see a lot of women and children as well. So anything surgery that has to do with kidneys, bladder, unmentionables, we take care of that.
There you go. I got to ask you this, because it's always interesting when I visit and get to interview with doctors and physicians of different specialties. And when along the way did you decide you wanted to be a doctor, and then why urology?
Well, when I went to college, I met my wonderful wife. If you ever meet her, you'll know she's the best thing about me.
Okay.
And I knew if I was going to keep her around, I had to do pretty good in school.
There you go.
And so I cleaned up my act, and I got through college, and my buddies were going to medical school, and I thought, well, if they're going to medical school, I'll just go along with them.
Really?
And so I went to medical school, and I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do, and just fell in love with everything, just about. And but I decided I wanted to do something surgical, but I also knew that I didn't want to be up all night fixing broken bones and car wrecks, and I didn't want to be taking out appendixes in the middle of the night and all that kind of stuff. So I just kind of gravitated towards something that maybe didn't have so much night work.
Sure.
And that was urology, and I fell in love with it, and I've never been happier.
I want to ask you, you mentioned your wife. Tell us about your family and anybody that you can mention here that you'd like to talk about.
We got married right after college, and that was 28 years ago.
Wow.
And we've got 3 kids. My oldest daughter, Kate, she's in her second year of medical school.
Wow.
At UAMS. And then I have a son, Clark, who lives at home with us, and I have a son, Colin, who's in his second year at University of Fayetteville.
Wow.
So we just had them home for the holidays, so it was nice having everybody around.
What does Dr. Rob Emery like to do in his spare time? When you're not being a doctor, what do you like to do?
Well, now that my kids have grown, I used to just like to follow them around all the time.
Sure. Yes, sir.
And do all the stuff that they're into. But I like music. I play in a band and
really
play the guitar and do some stuff like that. I like to travel and see concerts. Music's kind of one of my big hobbies.
Yes, sir. And of course, you're here at WRMC Medical Complex in Newport. How often are you here, and how do you get an appointment to see you? Do you have to get it from a regular physician?
Well, some insurances require a referral, but most do not.
Okay.
Medicare and most Blue Cross, they don't require a referral. You can just call my office. You can call here and get they'll refer you, or you can just call the White River Surgery Clinic in Batesville and get an appointment. I'm here every Wednesday morning, and that's except the last Wednesday of the month.
Okay.
So it's basically 3 out of 4.
Gotcha.
And I've been coming here for 20 years.
Yes, sir. There you have.
And so I've been coming here a long time.
Well, it's a pleasure to get to meet you and talk with you. And I know you do a great job, and Annie speaks highly of you. And I know a lot of your patients, and your patients speak highly of you. So I guess you're doing something pretty well like your wife.
Well,
I think your wife taught you well, didn't she?
Yeah. I think she did. But I've enjoyed the folks over here and coming over here. And I just, enjoyed everything about coming over. That's why I really don't have time to come over here anymore, but I like it so much, I just make time.
Go.
Yeah.
Dr. Rob Emery, my friend, good to meet you, sir.
Right. Good to meet you.
Y'all need any services from this young man right here, please let us know at WRMC Medical Complex in Newport. Our good friend John Chadwell, NEDC, downtown Newport, Arkansas, and we're visiting on a rather cool afternoon. Boy, it's been cold, Mr. Chadwell, has it not?
It has been cold.
Are you a walker? Are you a walker?
I walk the dogs every morning about 6 o'clock.
Still been walking the dogs recently?
It's cold too. It is cold. I have.
Does it breathe deep down into your lungs?
No, I try to breathe as shallow as possible.
It has been cold, and
it has been cold.
Probably colder than usual, but anyway, that doesn't affect us at NEDC because we're progress, and we talked a lot last month about the year and kind of rehashed the year again, and then we'll get into talking a few things that are going on and talk about the banquet a little bit. But boy, we had a great year. We had a great year at NEDC.
We had a really good year last year. Things went well. We've got a lot of stuff lined up this year. I can't see how this year's not just going to be even better. And so we're excited about. It's a good time to live in Newport.
Absolutely,
it's a good time to be in Newport, and there's all kinds of good stuff going on. If you don't like our NEDC Facebook page, you need to get on there and like it because we're posting some facts about Newport that show some of the progress that's going on. Our commission is going on the road this year, so every other commission meeting we're going to hold at one of our major employers.
Right.
And so we'll go out and hold it there. They're going to tell us a little bit more about what they do. But just our existing industries know we appreciate them, but this is just another way of showing them that we really care and we're willing to come to them and let them present to us. So we're looking forward to doing that each month or every other month. And we got some big events coming up. We got the Chamber Banquet on January 25th. It's going to be a really good banquet. They've got a great speaker. So if you hadn't called in and got your tickets, you need to do that. We've got the art show coming up February 24th. This year we're adding music to the art show. So there's going to be live music just about all day long. We got 210 artists. We got 25 authors. All told, with the musicians and everybody, we'll have over 250 creative artists in downtown Newport on February 24th. So that's kind of exciting. This summer, starting in May, our downtown group is starting the summer series. So there's going to be a couple of free concerts every month. There's going to be movies in the park for the kids once a month. So things are really happening on the quality of life side. If you really look at the facts and the statistics, we've been adding jobs.
Right.
We've been adding jobs at a pretty steady clip. Now we need to add residents.
Right.
You know, we need some of these folks who are driving into work to decide, hey, I think Newport's somewhere where I want to live. So we're working with some folks who are looking at some housing issues and housing options, and then we're trying to do some of this or working with groups, other groups who are trying to do this quality of life stuff, while the NEDC still works to create jobs and build our infrastructure. What people don't realize is it's all kind of a big puzzle. You know, it's like a Rubik's Cube.
Right.
You know,
twist and turn. We're going to find
the Chamber's one face of it, and NEDC's one face of it, and the downtown revitalization's one face of it. Our school district, our hospital, our city, our county, these are all faces of that, the Rubik's Cube. And I could always get one side of the Rubik's Cube right, but the other side's wrong, messed up.
Didn't quite look right, did it?
Yeah. So it takes some skill to turn that thing and get it all where every side is the right color. Well, that's what we work on here. We got to work on community development, economic development, city development, county development, educational development, and as we work on all of that puzzle together at the same time, we'll be able to build a community that'll attract business, attract industry, attract residents, and that's when we're going to see the really explosive growth that people would like to see. But there's just been a lot going on, and we're looking forward to a lot more.
I am amazed as a citizen of this community to see how far, and of course people know that I was involved in the original Lemonade Committee with Kanister Hodges in trying to get a tax passed for a Newport economic development, you know, type situation, and we did, and then we got it, you know, passed again. But anyway, I'm really amazed of how far we've come. We look at where we were 13, 14 years ago, and we just really didn't have a chance. We really didn't have a chance to better ourselves, and how far we've come during that time. And there are some people out there who go, well, I don't see it or I don't feel it. And that's understandable. But if you really look, we're doing quite well. We're doing quite well.
We are, you know, we're doing quite well for any community. But when you factor in our size,
right,
you know, the fact that we're a Delta town, that, you know, you factor all these things in, we're doing amazingly well. and it's really caught the attention of people around us, people in the state level, people in the regional level, and that gives us more and more opportunity.
Right.
It's amazing that people are more willing to invest in you the better they think you're going to do.
Right.
Everybody wants to back a winning horse.
Sure.
You know? And so the more we do, the more we progress, the more partners come in and go, hey, can we be part of what you're doing? And the more we say, sure. And we've got a lot going on. We're in our second business day of the year.
Right.
And we've already got 2 brand new prospects.
Wow.
I said, now if we have one a day all year, I'll wear
You're going to have a busy year.
But that'd be all right.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
so you know, it looks like 2018 is picking up right where 2017 left off, and we're excited about it.
Tell us the dates again on the Chamber Banquet and the Art Show.
Chamber Banquet, January 25th.
Okay.
And then the Art Show is February 24th.
Art Show is something that came from just a little bit of this to huge.
Yeah, it came from 17 artists in the depot working with the Clinton School to now we have really the largest fine art show, one of the largest fine art shows in the state of Arkansas, and we have people from all over the state that come, and the artists have been emailing me. They're so excited, and they're like, hey, you know what? This is the best show I go to.
You're
we love
right.
Newport.
You're
we love
right.
being
You're
there.
right.
So, and it'll bring 2,000 to 3,000 people to downtown Newport.
Right.
So it's a big deal.
And if people have questions and they want to attend one of our Economic Development Commission meetings, they're welcome to do that. We invite you by to come
Sure.
join us and find out what's going on. If you want to be in the know, you can certainly find out.
You can come to the economic development meetings. You can come to a chamber board meeting if you want. None of it's all hush hush or secret.
Right.
We do everything in the open, and everything's out there for people to check out. If you want to know what's going on, you don't have time to come to a meeting at 7 o'clock for the NEDC or at lunch. Come swing by my office or Julie's office anytime, sit down, and we'll tell you what's going on.
That's what I like. We can walk in the door and see the boss. John Chadwell, NEDC, downtown Newport. What a great year in 2017, and what a great job you've done since you've been here. And man, I look forward to 2018 and many years to come. Thank you, my friend.
Me too.
One of the big happenings in Newport, Arkansas is obviously the new senior center. If you don't know about the new senior center in Newport, Nanette Cooper is going to tell us a little bit about that. First of all, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Everybody around town knows Nanette Cooper, but for those that don't know Nanette, tell us a little bit about you and your family.
Okay. I was born and raised in Jacksonport all my life. I married Freddie Cooper. We've been married for 34 years. We have 2 kids. We have Summer and Kurt. They're both grown. We have 3 grandkids and 1 on the way.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Well, and I want to talk a little bit about Unity Health is in charge of the senior center. Let's talk a little bit about your background, and you're new to Unity Health. You're certainly not new to any of the healthcare field itself. Tell us what you have been doing prior to you taking the job here as the director.
I worked for Dr. Falwell. I was his radiology tech for 18 years.
Wow. Wow. And been here how long now?
I have been here since the end of October.
Okay, we're the director, been here since October. We're in a brand new building. We're in the kindergarten building at the Newport Elementary School, and it's not the kindergarten building anymore. This is really, really nice what has gone on here and what y'all have done here. I want to talk a little bit about services. Of course, Unity Health is in charge of running the senior center. Tell us a little bit about some of the things that y'all do here for the senior citizen. Why is it the senior center? What do we do for seniors?
Okay, we have breakfast Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings.
Okay.
And we serve lunch every day from 11 to 11:30. Anybody 60 and over can come and eat. It's free donations. If you're under 60 and you want to come and eat with somebody, it's $5 a plate.
Wow.
So anybody can come and eat.
Okay, let me ask, how do people get here? How do people get here?
Well, we have a van.
Okay.
Mr. Les goes every morning and picks people up.
Wow.
You know, they call. We pick people up at Hout Circle, Harmony Homes, White River Apartments.
Right, okay.
So all they have to do is call if they don't have a way, and we will pick them up.
Wow. So you can come in here 3 days a week for breakfast and any day, and then 5 days a week
5 days a week for lunch.
5 days a week for lunch. All right, tell me a little bit about, I mean, how's it going overall? I mean, a lot of talk around town about how good this center is doing and what this center is doing for the community. Talk a little bit about how you feel about it.
I think it's going good. You know, we deliver Meals on Wheels. We deliver to 40 clients a day.
Okay.
And, you know, some clients, we're the only people they see at all.
Is that right? Yeah.
You know, so they want to, you talk a few minutes, you know. So it's rewarding. It really is. It makes you feel good.
It does.
And they really appreciate it.
I know they do. I know they do. Now, the Meals on Wheels, how long has that program been going? Tell us a little bit about that program itself. I mean, is that a long-standing program?
That's
what I thought.
A long-standing program.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
we have like 77 people on the waiting list.
Wow.
So it is a big, for Jackson County is really,
Well, there's no doubt that the center here serves a lot of people, and the folks do appreciate it. And you know, as far as times of what times these people eat, what are the times for breakfast? Y'all serve breakfast?
We serve breakfast 8 to 9.
Okay.
And we serve lunch 11 to 11:30, 11:45.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, running a center like this is probably a little different than working as a tech in the office, as you mentioned that you did for 18 years. What are some of the challenges on a day-to-day changing jobs for you? I know you told me before we got on, it was 3 weeks of sitting at home wondering what I'm going to do. Do I need to get a job? Do I want to get a job? And sometimes it can be very, very tough coming out of the situation that you were in. But what are some of the challenges that you find in this job?
In this job, the computer is my challenge.
Is that right? Yeah.
The people is easy. The cooking's easy. The serving them, talking to them, you know. But the computer is my challenge.
I think the computer is my challenge, too. It is definitely my challenge. And, well, we certainly want to thank you for taking time to join us. Can people come tour the facility if somebody wants to come along?
Sure,
what do we need to do if we want to come tour?
Just come here in the morning, you know, come up front.
Okay.
Well, I call it the front. The entrance where you let the kids out.
Okay, years ago, right.
Right. That is what we call the front.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, the front door is what I
I
thought was the back door, and I told Ben which was the front door, and then we came in the back door.
Right, that's fine. That's fine. We have a banquet room we rent out. The end of the room.
Right, yeah.
That's the banquet room. We rent that out, so that's available for rent. We have, you know, we play bingo for the seniors, you know.
Okay.
On Mondays and Wednesdays, they get to play bingo. We
Good.
take them shopping. We take them to doctor's appointments. Anything that they need we took them to Batesville to see the Christmas lights, and they enjoyed that.
Is that right?
They love that.
Is that right? So a lot of things other than just providing meals. I mean, providing services for seniors. That I mean, it's always I see the word joy there, and it just reminds me it's such a joy to know what we do as a community for those people in the community that need the help,
yes.
and they certainly need the help.
They do need the help. I mean, you know, I read mail for people all the time. They come in here and they're like, this is what I got in the mail. Will you show me what's good and what's not? Read it, you know. And, I mean, you know, it's amazing because you don't realize. I didn't realize the need,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, tremendous need.
Tremendous need.
Tremendous need.
Tremendous.
And we often talk about when you have babies who are really not able to take care of themselves, and as we get older, we hit in those stages where sometimes there are just things that we cannot do. I mean, I'm at that age now at 61 years old. There's just some things that I cannot do at 61 that I could do when I was 35.
Right.
And the older you get, the more we lose some of those abilities, and that's why we have a great senior center right here at Newport,
Thank
Community
you.
Health.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Nanette, anything else that we need to talk about? Have we covered everything pretty well?
I think we've covered everything pretty well.
Yeah. And tell me about the renting the facility on the end. Anybody in the public?
Anybody in the public can rent the banquet.
Like a little reception,
Yes,
or what's a beautiful room that we came
Thank you.
through? Yeah.
Thank you. We have, you know, tables and chairs. You know, there's
Okay.
sinks there, but anybody can rent it, you know, for birthday parties, gender reveal. We've had somebody rent it for gender reveal. Anything they want to rent it for, you know, we rent it out. It's $100.
Okay.
And that's just for the banquet room, you know.
Right.
And it's closed off, so they don't have to
Sure.
worry about.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. It's just an extra addition, another place that you could rent right here. Because, I mean, from time to time, it gets difficult to find a place to rent in Newport,
Exactly.
Arkansas. It
Yeah.
certainly does.
It does.
It certainly does. We appreciate you taking time to join us. I know you're doing a great job, and a change in jobs, sometimes a fresh change in jobs.
Fresh
I know you're
change.
enjoying it,
I
Nanette.
am enjoying it. Thank you very
Nanette
much.
Cooper, and we're at the Senior Center here in Newport. It's the old elementary school where the Castleberry, where the donut school was, no longer the donut school, and we had the Castleberry, not elementary, but kindergarten building. And it's just been completely remodeled, and it's for the Senior Center now. And we thank you for all you do, and we certainly thank Unity Health. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Well, Folks, you're looking to buy a new set of tires for your car, you want something for your pickup truck, you maybe need some mud tires, you're looking for something that's a little different type of a fit for your particular truck, maybe want to lift it up a little bit. Farmers Tire Mart in Newport invites you to give them the opportunity to price you a set of tires. Before you buy your next set of tires anywhere else, give Farmers Tire Mart a chance to give you a price. At least see how competitive these guys can be, because I promise you this, hometown service, hometown sales, Farmers Tire Mart, where the rubber meets the road, they're going to give you a great deal on these tires. They're going to give you some options. They're going to let you get a great value for the hard-earned money that you spend. The only thing that they cannot do, they can't help you if you don't give them an opportunity. I've been doing business with them for many, many years, and they take care of me. They give me great prices on tires. They give me great prices on service. They do exactly what they say. They get it done right the first time, and if for some reason they don't get it right, they're going to get it taken care of. So if you're in the market for a set of tires, Farmers Tire Mart, they're located at 1501 Malcolm Avenue, right here in Newport. You know where they are. Tommy and Linda Bain, for many, many years, taking care of folks in Newport, Jackson County, and through northeast and north central Arkansas in the tire and automobile service business. Let me give you an example. You have a wheel bearing go out in your car or your truck, Farmers Tire Mart. You have your vehicle's pulling to the right or pulling to the left, just not right, Farmers Tire Mart. You got a flat tire, Farmers Tire Mart. You need some just air put in your tire, Farmers Tire Mart. You're looking for a set of tires for your ATV, Farmers Tire Mart. You need tractor tires, Farmers Tire Mart. If you need a tire, Farmers Tire Mart. Brakes become squeaky. Hopefully that they're not already rubbing metal to metal, but once you hear the squeak, Farmers Tire Mart. Oil changes, Farmers Tire Mart. Why not go to Farmers Tire Mart and let them do the general maintenance on your automobile? They'll keep a record of it. They'll know how often that you've changed your oil. Everything will be on record there in their computer system. Farmers Tire Mart, where the rubber meets the road, great people to do business with. Locally owned and operated. They're not owned by anybody outside of this city. They're not owned by anybody outside the state. They're not owned by anybody outside the country. Farmers Tire Mart, they're local folks with local ties, doing local business with local people. Give these guys a chance the next time you get ready to buy a set of tires. Go in and tell them what you think you might want, and let Tommy Bain show you what you might need to save you some money, sell you a better tire and for less money, and get you a better deal. Farmers Tire Mart, where the rubber meets the road, and don't forget about their affordable service on their automobiles. They are simply one of the best. Farmers Tire Mart, right here in Newport. Visiting what normally was Karen Hunt, but now it's Karen Ridley.
Yes.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Tell me about how you get a name change like that. How did the name change? What happened there?
You get married.
You got married.
I got married.
Okay, cool. I was
Yes.
wondering how that worked. No, I knew that.
You knew how it
Tell
happened.
the folks who didn't know that, how that happened. I mean, just, you got married.
I got married September 30th of last year and changed my name, and everything's good.
You deserve a good man.
Thank you.
And you have a good man.
I have a good man.
Mike's a good fella.
He is.
He's a good fella. And for those of you who don't know Mike Ridley, great guy here in Newport, Arkansas, and he's married a fantastic woman.
Thank you.
Y'all make a good pair.
We're a good couple.
Y'all are a good couple.
Yeah.
Y'all are a happy couple, too.
We are a happy couple.
Well, of course, you know, newlyweds still, and, you know, wait about 3 years, and then
Ask me again.
And then life sets in.
That's right. Ask me again.
We're at the Jackson's Funeral Home, if you didn't know, the 1900 block of Malcolm Avenue, and we're here to visit with Miss Karen about the pre-need funeral arrangement. Pre-need is what we call it, and among other things, that at the first of the year, here we are. It's time to talk about that. Give us some information on who, what, when, where, why, and why somebody might need pre-need.
Okay. I always think about it at the beginning of a new year because everyone's kind of getting everything in order, getting situated, and thinking about what you need to do. And I always think that pre-need is a good thing to think about because you never know when the need is going to arise. The pre-needing is so easy. It's so easy. All you do is call. You can come in. We can come to your house. We can, we can work through the mail, through email. It's really easy to do. And it takes a lot of the burden off your family at the time of your death because they know exactly what you wanted. If you prepay,
right,
then your services are prepaid. Your family does not have the financial burden that they would normally have. And it's just a really good thing to do.
Karen, I think, in talking about pre-need, and we'll dwell more into the expense part or the paying part, and the thing that really hits home with me is having to make decisions today when you have a clear mind.
Yes.
And you're not distraught because in losing a loved one, which all of us have done, all of those questions are answered. I mean, if I come in and I give you all that information and you have that information ready to go, then my family, they don't have to worry about that when they sit down at the table. And everybody said, well, I call it sitting down at the table to make the funeral arrangements.
Yes.
Everything's taken care of.
It's all taken care of, and you don't have the added stress of grieving at that time.
Right.
So a lot of times people just can't think. They can't think of what they want to say. They can't think of the information that's required for the death certificate. Mm-hmm. And also, when you prearrange, you're taking a lot of the emotion out of the selection process.
Right.
So when people are in the showroom, you and I know what my dad would think is good enough for him, I don't think is nearly good enough for him.
Right, exactly.
So, and when you're emotional and you're grieving, that's amplified.
Right.
So this kind of keeps things in check. It keeps everyone on an even keel, and it just makes the process easier. I actually have people who, we do the video tributes and all that.
Oh, sure.
I have people who bring their pictures into me and say, scan these, hold them on a disc, put them in my file. These are the pictures I want.
What to use.
And then every year or so, they bring me an update
right.
of pictures that have been taken throughout the year.
Right.
So you don't even have to gather pictures. And I think that's one thing that is really difficult for people when the need arises and you've got a limited time frame.
About that, yeah.
And people who have 400 photo albums, or like myself, a giant box with all my pictures slung in it.
There you go.
When you start going through all that, it takes so much time. And
you have to find
it's
the
so
pictures that you need.
difficult. Yes.
Lots of decisions, lots of little decisions that you have to make. I mean, one that comes to mind is what songs do you want sung or played? If you have that out of the way, you don't have to scratch your head and go, I don't know. What do y'all think? What do you think we need to do here?
Right. Or, I never asked that question.
Right.
A lot of times I hear that. They say, I never thought to ask that question.
Yeah. It's just some of the things that you find out that prearrangement will take care of.
Yes.
And you talk about the money part, and you talk about tell us how that locks in. Tell us how that locks in for the person.
When you prepay, your price is locked in at today's price. Okay. All of your service, all of your merchandise prices are locked in. So they're protected against inflation. So if you come in today and you pay for a funeral and your service and merchandise is, let's say, $10,000 for a round number. And when you die, that same funeral is $18,000. Your family does not owe $8,000.
Wow, yeah.
It's paid for. They have saved. You have saved your family $8,000.
Right, sure.
Just by prearranging. And one thing I think people don't always understand is that you don't have to come in here, prearrange, and pay for it all at once.
Okay.
You can make payments. Usually we ask for about 10% down payment.
Okay.
You pay it out over 5 years. At the end of 5 years, you're finished with it. It's not an insurance policy that goes on and on and on forever.
Okay.
So you're finished with it. There's no interest on your payments. So every dollar you pay comes right off the top. I mean, it's a win-win.
It is win-win.
Yes.
It is win-win. Those people that maybe need more information on pre-need or the services, what do they have to do? How do they get more information? That's the most important thing.
They can call us here at the funeral home. Our number is 523-5822.
Okay.
They can call and talk to, there are several of us here who can sell pre-arrangement, who are pre-arrangement counselors. We can set up a time to meet with them either at their home or here at the office. We can mail information if you prefer to do it that way. We can scan and email information.
There you go.
So there are a myriad of ways to get this information. You can go through our website, and there's a form on there that you can fill out. And basically on that form, you can tell us what you're looking for, because we also have pictures of our caskets and so forth, so that you can say, this is what I like. Now, what will it cost me?
There you go.
We get an email from the website, and we respond the very next day.
Wow. Computer technology.
Yes.
It's just amazing how far we've come in a little old world where just a few years ago we didn't have a cell phone.
How did we survive?
I do not know. I do not know.
I don't know how I lived without my teenage son in the bedroom texting me to bring him something from the kitchen. I don't know how I survived that.
I can't imagine. I cannot imagine. I didn't, when I walked in the door, I felt in all my pockets. I said, I don't think I've got my cell phone more, and I really need my cell phone. I thought, well, you know, I'm going to do an interview. I'm not going to be talking on the cell phone. I really don't need it. But
you still have that sense of panic.
You got it. You got it.
Yeah.
Karen, I appreciate all the information on pre-need, and you can call or get on the website. You know, come by, drop by, and you can certainly get all the information that you need. Karen Ridley from Jackson's Funeral Home, the 1900 block of Malcolm Avenue. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Merchants and Planners Bank at the Solution Center in downtown Newport, Arkansas. Tara Salinas joins us with a new guest who's a very familiar face in the Solution Center and around Newport, Arkansas, Thelma Welch. Good to see you, girl.
Hey, classmate.
How are you? 1974.
Hey.
33 years ago we graduated.
Dates
yeah, 33 years ago, wasn't it? 28 years ago.
A little bit more than that.
A little more than that. Tara, everything going lovely? Everything okay at M&P?
Everything's great. We're excited about the new year. We've got new products and services. We've got new locations open. So things are wonderful here. And I'm really excited to have Miss Thelma here joining us today. I know lots of people know and love her. And I thought it was a good opportunity to talk to her and let her share some other good things that are going on.
Well, for those of you who do not know about Thelma, tell us a little bit about high school, college. Tell us a little bit about you, and then tell us a little bit about your family, and we'll start from there, and then we'll get into the good stuff of the banking business.
Okay. Well, I grew up in Merchants and Planners. I did grow up in Merchants.
You did, didn't you?
I grew up in Newport, graduated from Newport High School, went to college out of state, but came back here and made my home here. And I've been at Merchants and Planners since 1983, 34 years. So
wow.
It's a good place to be. We do good things. I told Mr. Gowan, we were talking earlier at the end of the year, and I said, it's good to work at a place you're proud of.
Absolutely.
I'm proud of the bank, and I'm proud of what it does in our community. It gives back, and it's invested here. And I love to go in a store and have my sweater on, and somebody says, "Oh, you work at the bank? I got a question." And I love that. That's a privilege to get to be able to do that.
Right.
I'm proud of where I work, and I'm happy to be here. I have 3 children, and none of them are here, but I get to visit with them lots, and they all live in good places to travel, so that makes it okay.
It does that.
Yeah.
It does that. You, of course, grew up here, went to high school here, did graduate in 1974, and came from a big family.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of kids and twins in the family.
That's
and
right.
Girls everywhere.
That's right, yeah.
But Thelma and I go back a long way, even though we didn't go to elementary school together, because back in the day, we had 2 elementary schools.
That's right.
You were over at Albright, and I was at the donut school.
And I always wanted to go to the donut school because I thought y'all got to eat donuts all the time.
We did.
Just pointing over here at Albright. That was not
They didn't have any donuts, did they?
No,
They didn't have any donuts. We're talking a little bit about banking. You've been here, for a lot of years. What have you done? What what have your jobs been? What is your job today?
Well, I think I've been really lucky in that when I came to the bank, I started in the bookkeeping department. I started out working there, learning about, basically everyday banking business. I worked in the bookkeeping department. I worked in the trust department with Pat. Pat ran the trust department. I worked in data processing. I worked in the note department, and from the note department I became a loan assistant. And from a loan assistant, when Terry moved to the insurance and investments, I took over his position. And so I have been very lucky to have been able to see the bank from both sides, from the operations over to the lending, and it just lets me have a good overview of how the bank works and be able to help people in lots of different ways.
Well, there's no doubt, when you spend a lot of years at one place and you keep getting promoted and promoted and promoted, obviously that means you're doing a great job, and the people that, like you, and there's no doubt that you're a super person. Let me ask you this. Why banking? Was there something along the way where you said, boy, banking is where I want to be, that's what I want to do? College, tell me about college first. Did you major in finance, banking?
No.
What'd you major in?
I have a biology degree and
chemistry
minor.
I knew that. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I wanted to work in research, and worked in research at University of Tennessee in Memphis for about a year. And I found out that wasn't for me. It was research on strokes, and in that process, they would cause a stroke in dogs, and then they had to sacrifice them in order to review the. So I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So I came back to Newport and taught science for a year and a half.
Yeah.
And then I got married and moved off. And when I came back, there was no teaching position, but there was a banking position, and I've been here ever since. I actually started in 1980. And was off for a period when I had Lindsay. And so actually so I've really been with the bank 37 years, except for about 9 months when I wasn't. And so, but I came back full time in 1993 and been here ever since. So it's something I kind of fell into, but my daddy was president of Farm Credit, and so I'd always been around that kind of environment. And I started work here with Ernest McDonald was the president of the bank, and Mr. Gowan and I started the same year, except I started before he did, so I have seniority over him.
Is that right? I'll let him know.
I already do every day.
Is that right?
But anyway, so it's a really, I feel really blessed about where I work, and I've worked with really good people, and no one here has ever not taught me what I needed to know.
Right,
so,
that's great.
And we have such great customers. It's a privilege to deal with our customers.
Tell me a little bit about some of the things that you do on a day-to-day basis, job responsibilities, so on, and kind of, when you get into the nuts and bolts of what you do and some of the information that we have.
Well, I do lending. That's my main responsibility. I might make a $300 loan to somebody that is just, that's what they need at that time. And then the next day I may make a $3 million loan to a commercial customer. So that's another thing I feel real lucky about, is that I'm not in one area of lending. I get to help. We are small enough that we get to help all kinds of customers. And that's very fulfilling on a daily basis. Now, I also help we're as lenders, we're also involved with the accounts and all, and I do back up for our CSRs there in the lobby, and so we have some really good accounts that we want to make people aware of right now, and one of them is our investment checking. It is it pays you interest on your money, but you can still use it all the time. It's kind of like a CD, but you got money, you got access to your money all the time with no penalty. So that is a very, very good product for people that maybe have some extra money they want to put back and kind of use, but still have access to. And then we have this really cool new CD that we're excited about. It's for 21 months, and it pays 2.018. Does that look familiar?
It looks like that's probably the year that we're in.
2018.
Did I get it?
That's right.
Did I get it?
So it's a special rate that we're offering, and we think it's just very competitive and will meet a lot of needs for people. So we're excited about it, and we want everyone to come and join us in our 2.018 CDs.
I love that. I love that. I know this, and I say this a lot, and Tara and I say this a lot. Merchants and Planters Bank, we'll say our hometown bank. It is my hometown bank. It's my bank. And it's been my bank forever. And it's nice to be able to walk into the bank and know everybody that's there. Sometimes we hire new employees, some younger folks, and you get my age, you don't kind of go and say, well, tell me who that is, tell me who that is, tell me who that is. But anyway, and because folks work here forever and then they retire. There's just not a lot of people that work, 2.5 years and go do something else.
Well, one thing that we are proud of too as a bank is that we as a bank our employees are the largest stockholder of this bank. We're not,
right.
We are proud of that. So we work for ourselves. If we do well, the bank does well.
Right.
And so I think that's something to brag about. Not everybody has that benefit that they can know I am making a difference here, not just for my bank and my community, but also for myself and my family.
We played a little game before we got on here, and Tara had come up with a question of, let me give you a question. Do you know this about Thelma? And of course, I got the answer. But is there anything else just off the top of your head that you think that I might not be able to answer? It's okay if you don't. I just.
No, you guys go way back. So
yeah,
we
do.
Get one over.
Yeah, I know.
You know a lot about.
But the one about owning a monkey at one time, I knew.
It's my personal favorite fast fact about Miss Thelma. That she did actually have a pet monkey at the house when she was
our
growing
family,
up.
yeah.
Right.
We had a lot of exotic pets.
That's the best. What was its name?
I think it was Blackie. I think it was it was one of those woolly monkeys, We weren't very creative with names.
We just had the animals, didn't we?
Yeah.
We just had the animals.
Cat, dog,
That's right. Well, what a pleasure it is to get to visit with you, and you have such a passion for your hometown bank, and 37 years, as you say, that's a lifetime worth of service. And congratulations to you on a job well done.
Well,
and Tara,
you.
you have brought us the ultimate guest.
I think so as well.
Wow.
We've got a lot of great rates, a lot of great offers, a lot of great products. But what I really am proud of are the great people that we get to work with and work for every day. And Thelma's just one of the best. One of the best, no doubt about that. We're at Merchants and Planters Bank. We're at the Solution Center, filming in downtown Newport, Arkansas. Our hometown bank, M&P. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Let's continue on with more of the show. St. Michael's Place each and every month in Newport over on Pecan Street. Always with Mr. Jay Cox. And Jay Cox, welcome. And we have a special guest we're talking to today. Please introduce.
We do. We have a brand new business office manager that is new to our staff. And this young lady keeps us in line. She, most importantly, keeps me in a paycheck, which is why I work so closely with this lady here.
Yes.
This is Miss Jody Conley, and she's no stranger to Newport. And I'm not going to begin to introduce her, but I will let her just tell us a little bit about herself and what all she does here at St. Michael's Place. We're glad to have her.
Jody, welcome. Jody Kaysen Conley, if those of that you may not know, and most of you probably do know, but tell us a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about growing up. Tell us a little bit about education and so on and so forth, about, younger growing up, and we'll talk about how you got here and what you're doing here in a little bit. Tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I grew up in Tuckerman. Went to high school at Tuckerman, ended up getting my GED at around 2003. Went to college, recently got out of college about 2 years ago. Worked here and there, managed a few stores in the mall, and landed here at St. Michael's Place, and I'm extremely excited about it.
Well, I bet you are. I bet you are. Now talk about the college. I mean, when you went to college, what did you think when you go to, everybody has a plan when they go to college, and it never, ever, ever, hardly ever works out. I'm going to go be this, and then I go and I get some hours in, and then I'm not that.
Well, I'll tell you, I originally started going for business.
Right.
And then I changed my mind and went to communication studies with a minor in sociology. So I thought I was going to be a sociologist for a little while, and then I landed myself back in business. So it comes full circle.
Well, no, you are a sociologist if you're having to deal with Jay Cox. You certainly are.
That's true.
That is true.
Jody, tell us a little bit about what you do here at St. Michael's. First of all, how'd you get here? How'd you get to St. Michael's Place?
Well, I actually run across the job listing online, and within 2 hours I had my application filled out and calling the administrator, telling her how bad I wanted the job, and came in for an interview, and the rest is wrote in history.
It is that. It is. All right, and business office manager, that is a enormous undertaking. Tell us a little bit about the job responsibility and what all you have to do here.
I do a lot of pre-admit packages whenever the residents come in. We get their financials in order, so definitely doing the financial side. I also get to do a lot of things with the employees on the employee side, a lot of HR stuff.
What's HR stuff? What's that mean?
Well, I get to do the payroll.
Oh, okay.
I get to do the employee problems when they have a problem clocking in or clocking out. I'm the go-to person, so they definitely come to me to make sure that they're clocking in and out and getting their hours.
Jay said this jokingly at the beginning of the interview and talked about just make sure that you get paid. But a lot of people depend on you then to get their check
and make sure it's correct.
And make sure that it's correct.
And if it's not, I'm the first one to hear about it.
I bet you are. I bet you are. So let me ask you this: how's your stay been so far? And talk a little bit about being at St. Michael's Place and the people that are here, because it's a wonderful facility, and they're good people to work with and for.
It is, and I almost feel like I came home. And I come home to a big family. I'm here most nights, and we're all here working as a team to get things done. Jay and I are starting to roll out a few new things with how processes are going to work, and we're really making headway on that. And I've really enjoyed St. Michael's Place. Like I said, I know almost everybody, patients and all. If I haven't worked with them sometime, growing up, then I'm working with them now. So, I mean, it's a family. It's definitely my second family.
Well, there's no doubt that when you're in this business and you're taking care of folks, and lots of local folks here who you know their families, so on and so forth. But I know you're doing a great job. Jay told me that, and Jay, let me ask you this: we continue to hire good people. We're continuing to grow, and adding Jody to the staff is just another one of those big pluses that we have.
Well, one of the things about having Jody come on board is that she didn't require just a whole lot of training. I mean, anytime you go into a new job in a new facility, you have to learn their processes, but she had a lot of experiences in the area of Medicaid and Medicare, things like that made her be able to pick up on things a lot faster, which made my job easier because I deal a lot with the resident as they come in with the insurance side, and so that made it a lot easier, just the fact that she had some training before she got here. And so once again, it was hiring the right people, like you said, at the right time for this season. We are growing by leaps and bounds. David, this year I told our administrator, I said, this is going to be the year that St. Michael's has surpassed the years previous to us.
Right.
This is we see something here. We've built a good team, and I'm just going to look to the people in Newport and say we're not afraid to ask for your business. We're solid. We're secure. We're not going downhill. We're climbing. We're growing. And if you want the best place to bring your loved one for us to take care of you, St. Michael's is that place. I say it with confidence. I'm not afraid to ask you, bring them to St. Michael's Place. Not just your loved one in the later part of their years, but also you have surgery, you come across a sickness and a hospital stay, you need rehab, come see us. We are that facility that you need to be in. I'm not afraid to tell citizens of Newport, Jackson County, we are that facility.
Hey, no doubt about that. And Jody, I just want to say that congratulations on your new job. I know it'll be a tremendous run for you.
Thank you.
You've joined a great organization. How you put up with a guy to your left, I don't know. Listen, just do the best that you can do throughout your stay,
Yeah,
okay?
you know, sometimes he's just right there beside me. Sometimes I just holler out to him, and we'll see how that goes. And one
Man,
of
he's
these
a
days
good
he's going to
man.
holler back at me.
He will that. He will that. Jody Conley, new business office manager here at St. Michael's, and Jay Cox, as always, I appreciate y'all's time to visit with us.
Thank you.
For the first time in the history of our program at Customized Vision Care with Dr. Gavin McDowell and David Black, we have absolutely nothing, and I mean nothing, to talk about.
Not a thing. Not a thing.
So
nothing interesting, nothing uninteresting. Just
We talked for 30 minutes to try to come up with a subject about what we're going to talk about on this 5 to 7 to 15-minute program that we do, and we came up with nothing.
So it's now it's an option. We're either going to just sit and stare at each other silently for the next, how long is our spot?
As
3
long as we
hours.
need it.
3 hours, or Dave's going to dance.
I'm thinking about dancing. Okay, I thought about dancing. I'm not going to do that. I do want to ask you about some of your training that we do. I want to get off the eye care subject and talk about training and marathon training.
Oh, I thought you were training. Like, okay, you're going to ask me to, who was my instructor for general pathology?
How'd your training go? How'd you become a doctor? No, I want to know about your athletic prowess and your. I mean,
prowess.
Seriously. Yeah, I know you are.
Prowess.
You're one of those guys that loves to exercise.
Yeah.
You're in the gym. You're on the track. You're out there running. How's that going? And tell us about your recent going to get up and go do it and didn't get up and go do it, and why you didn't get up and go do it.
First off, it's cold.
Yes, sir.
It's cold, and not a lot that I do. I'll put it this way. They make treadmills to run on indoors, and that's like torture. And actually, if we had a longer spot, I'd tell you the full-on how the treadmill was derived from an actual torture device developed in England. And I'll tell you about that after. Anyway, it was actually built.
Seriously?
Yes, it's designed off of a torture device. So I don't run on a treadmill.
I didn't like them.
I do not run on a treadmill. Like, I can't. Well, let's put it this way: if I'm in a hotel in a strange city, yes. Like I went to New Orleans some months ago. I ran the treadmill there.
Okay.
But I get out and run, and my group usually runs at least 3 days a week, and I did not run yesterday.
Why?
It was -5 wind chill. -5.
It was cold. It was cold.
I'm not. That's a negative. If you're not curious,
Minus
not knowing
plus
what minus
5.
is. And
Question.
5 is cold. That's that.
Why do you say
Fahrenheit.
5? Why do you say 5 and then a -5, and we don't say a -5 and it's a +5? Why is it 5 and -5? Why is it not -5 plus 5? Just thought I'd ask.
Why is?
I don't know.
Okay. Why is hot water heaters called hot water heaters? Anyway.
I saw a good question on Facebook last night. Does hot water freeze quicker, or does cold water freeze quicker?
That's a full entropy question. I think it goes back to my chemistry background.
Yes, sir.
But the answer is, just depends. Depends on the qualities of the water.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Good answer. Went right over it. Didn't answer it.
Totally avoided the question by giving you something else to look up.
Education, though.
Yeah.
Education. Hey, you've been in this business a long time.
Yep.
You had a great year taking care of your patients last year. We look forward to doing that in 2018. And on a serious note, I mean, we're here. We want your business. We want, if you're unhappy where you are, or if you just need to see a specialist that can help you with your eye vision.
Knew it was coming.
It's coming. We recommend Dr. McDowell. Tell us about the year. Tell us about last year.
Last year was a good year. I'll say this. A lot of businesses are going to measure their failures or successes based upon end-of-year numbers as far as profits and losses and stuff like that. And we are a small business. But essentially, if I can care for our patients to the level that I feel as though they deserve, which I think everybody deserves the highest level of care, regardless of your background, regardless of your situation, regardless of a lot of different things that might happen outside your control or within your control, that's not for me to decide. My job is, you come see me, I'm going to give you the highest level of care that I can possibly give. And we have yet to have only 7 patients come in and complain this week. And today's the 3rd.
And today's the 3rd.
No, that's how we gauge our success. You know, patients returning, coming back, referring family and friends. That's how we measure our success.
It's always good to know when you do grandma's eyes and then son's eyes come and then grandson's eyes come and then the next group of people and then you're doing a whole family and then,
right.
And I mean that repeat referral business is it's just like in any small business.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a must, and there's no doubt that I mean I see people in here. You know, we've been doing the show long enough that I've seen parents whose now kids are coming in here and so on and so forth. Maybe they bring their grandparents in.
That's how you know you've been doing this for a while. Whenever your patients you've been seeing for a while, they're coming in with their kids. It's like, oh wow, I've read about this in books and how people get old, and I didn't think it was going to happen to me.
But we provide professional care, and I want to talk about the process because I've been to several other. I guess you call surgical doctors,
right?
What do you call them? And that you've recommended to me, and going through the process of how they run you through. And I will say this, and I've said this before, the process of how you get your eyes examined here is second to none. And I've been coming to see an optometrist all my life. And talk a little bit about that process from what you get from the time you walk in the door till you get to the next spot and going through. I mean, it's in, and I mean, we get it done, but we get it done in a professional manner.
Right, and well, I'll say this. We fully practice the medical model here, and what that means is that I'm sure everyone has seen commercials or ads for lens crafters, and in Jonesboro there's Lens Masters, there's Pearl Vision, there's Sears Optical. There's a lot of different Walmart has opticals.
Right.
And I'll be frankly honest, and this is no detriment to their business model whatsoever. They are in the retail optical business. They are to get you in, get your numbers, get your glasses, and get you out. And we provide that service, but we provide that as a smaller portion of our service. Our service is more geared toward and directed toward the overall health of the eyes themselves. Yes. And I will say this, it's very hard for me to simply look in someone's eyes and say, well, that's your problem, and this is what we got to do, and that's going to fix your body.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of different measurements going on. There's a lot of things I can't physically see in the eye. But to be frankly honest, I've got almost every bell and whistle you can dream of when it comes to medical eye care.
Right.
And so I will say this. I have some equipment that even some ophthalmologists do not have.
Okay.
Now, the difference between ophthalmologists and myself is it's not their first go-to or knee-jerk reaction. They're going to try to solve things through surgery, and that's great.
Right.
And there are many things that I see in here that I have to refer out for surgery.
Absolutely.
That I can't fix.
Absolutely, sure.
But, my job, realistically, I'm really in preventative medicine. I'm doing everything I can to give you the best information I can give you to make better decisions and to help you help yourself into preventing problems before they happen.
And I think a lot of us forget that, and we've talked about this for several years on this program, once or twice a year, we don't just have to see you when your eyes get blurry.
Yeah, yeah.
We'd rather see you before they get blurry.
Exactly. You don't, I'll say this. You don't normally change your oil in your vehicle after it starts knocking. Right? You change it on a very regular basis so you don't have to blow that engine up to know, oh, I guess I should have done something about that oil. That's the whole purpose of it. That's the reason everybody should have a yearly eye exam after the age of 6 months. Okay. That's 6 months old. Yes, that means children. And no, I'm not going to have a child in there and the big contraption that we have to check vision and ask them which is better, 1 and 2.
Right. Yeah.
There's a lot of different things that we check for in children with reflexes. We check in the elderly. We check in middle age. I mean, there's so many different things that happen in different stages of life that, you know, if you just had it monitored,
right,
I assure you we could prevent a vast majority of problems you might have down the line.
Well, I think we all miss the boat on health care of our eyes.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Oh,
we
yeah.
all miss the boat.
Well, I mean,
just don't think
it's not going to happen to us.
Right.
That's some other guy it's going to happen to. I mean,
and it happens to us.
And it happens to us over and over again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. But I appreciate what you have done for me personally, because, I mean, it's been where I mean, my glasses are here, my contacts are here, everything that I've always done has been here. I've never had anybody any better in all the years that I've been, seeing optometrists. And
well, if I was a narcissist, that would really just
you'd
play right to my strengths.
You'd take off on that, wouldn't you? You'd take off on that. But I appreciate what you do. And like you say, when you get to the point where you say, well, this is something that's not my specialty, let me get you to the guy that is the specialist that can do that.
I'm going to punt.
Yeah, you're going to punt, and they're going to stick needles in your ass.
Yes. Don't move.
Don't. Relax. Won't hurt a bit.
I love it. Relax. Now we're going to shove this needle into your eye.
That's right.
Oh, wait. Those two don't go together.
No, they don't.
No.
Dr. McDowell, good to see you, sir.
Good to see you too, Dave.
Hope you have a great 2018. I know it'll be exciting for you. It'll be exciting for us.
It'll be something.
Right, it'll be something. He's Dr. Gavin McDowell. We're at Customized Vision Care. Oh, you're looking for a guy that'll take care of you. He and his staff are the best.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the January 2018 edition of the Farmers Supply Association Agriculture Report. This is Randy Klepeczka, agronomist with Farmers Supply Association. I'd like to wish everyone a happy New Year as we tape this January program. It seems like winter's just flying by, and of course, as the older you get, it seems like the more time flies by all seasons of the year, but certainly this winter's flying by. It's going to be planting time before you know it. Seemed like we were just in season here not too long ago, but a couple of months away from starting planting. So time to get stuff planned and get ready for another year. One of the things I've been doing recently with some of our customers is just sitting down and talking about fertility recommendations. Fertility programs, as with many things that you do in agriculture, need to be planned out during the off season. I mean, I know the plans don't always come when you get into the heat of the season. The plans may not work out that well, but you need to have a good plan going in. That way you can, make recommendations and order things and things like that on a timely manner without having to really do a lot of thinking and planning, on the fly during season. So try to get those fertility programs and some other stuff planned now during the wintertime. Of course, soil samples and knowledge of your field should be the basis of a good fertility program. Soil samples at least every 3 years or so are really good. I mean, some of these fields don't change a lot, especially the heavy soils, but still good to get those soil samples and just see where you're at as far as fertility needs so you can produce those good yields. And on this month's program, what I want to do is just talk about some of the major nutrients that we'd have to put fertilizer out for and just kind of hit those one by one, hit some high points on all of our major nutrients that we require fertilizer applications for, and just hit some high points and some of the things that we need to know about those. Of course, your first major or macronutrient that you talk about is nitrogen. Of course, nitrogen is primarily just added to grass crops. It's really huge, obviously, for rice, corn, wheat, and grain sorghum, but we're starting to see a few more producers put nitrogen out on their soybean fields. Generally, that's a late season application after blooming, and generally, and I think they really should be limited to where you have some extremely high yield potential. Obviously, the soybean plant makes nitrogen, makes enough for decent yields, maybe up in the that 70 bushel or so range. But when you're pushing these high yields, like some of these guys are pushing for 100 bushels and pushing to win these yield contests and things like that, an additional nitrogen application or two during that reproductive stage can be beneficial to you, I think, once you get past that, again, that 70 or 80 bushel mark or something like that. Recommendations for nitrogen are really based on crop response tests to different rates. Really, for the most part, have not based our nitrogen recommendations on soil test results. It's generally based on, again, crop response rates to different rates of nitrogen. But now there are some things that can help you fine-tune your nitrogen. So, those seem to be coming along every few years. So I want to mention some of those. One of the big ones is Instar and rice. Instar is a 18-inch soil sample for silt loam soils, 12 inches for clay soils. It can help you fine-tune how much nitrogen you really need by seeing how much nitrogen is down in that subsoil. So you might can fine-tune. It can go either way. You could require more nitrogen than those normal recommendations, or it could require less. So that's something to look at, I think. It can also be used in wheat. Something that we're looking at, started using a little more in rice last year, was the Green Seeker. It's a handheld instrument that uses color and light to help fine-tune nitrogen needs, especially for rice at mid-season and later. There's also some data for wheat and corn with the green seeker as well, so that's something you can consider to help fine-tune nitrogen rates. Something they started working on or became available on a pilot basis last year was the lower corn stalk test for corn, where you can get a section of the lower corn stalk late in the season, have those analyzed, and that kind of helps say, how well your nitrogen program was for the past year, and that will help you maybe in the future. Are you over-fertilizing, under-fertilizing? Get a better handle on that. So that's something you might want to look at in the future is that lower corn stalk sample. The next macronutrient, we talk about N, P, and K. The P is phosphorus. For the most part, our crops that we grow mainly around here are a little less responsive to phosphorus, especially rice and soybeans. The soil sample may call for some pretty good rates of phosphorus, but generally when we put them out there, a lot of times we don't get maybe quite the response as we do some of the other nutrients. I'm not saying you need to leave those off or anything, but if you're looking for a place to cut, maybe you could shade those phosphorus recommendations a little bit and not see a lot of difference in yield. So, the phosphorus soil test is kind of a little bit undependable. It's not a real accurate test. So, again, of the big nutrients, that's the one we probably don't get quite as much response generally from fertilization. So again, where you need it, but where you don't need it, maybe you could shave a little bit off of the phosphorus. It's generally more important with corn and wheat, again, than it is with rice and soybeans. So with corn and wheat, really like to get that phosphorus you need out there. Again, with rice and soybeans, maybe not quite as important as some of the other nutrients. Potassium or potash is hugely important. As our guys are pushing yields and making higher yields, I think the big thing you want is pretty high potassium levels. I think that can make a huge difference in yield. It also does some other things like stalk strength, disease resistance, and things like that. So again, make sure you've got those potassium levels high. Put out what's recommended. Sometimes if a guy's asking about recommendations, I may shave a little bit if he's trying to save money on phosphorus, but I usually never shave on the potassium because I think that's where a lot of the yield potential and other benefits are. So potassium is very, very important as far as our major nutrients. Looking at some of our secondary and micronutrients that the plants don't require quite as much as. Sulfur, very important for our grass crops. It's pretty much an automatic, in my opinion, on wheat and also corn, especially on the lighter soils. Not as important on some of our other crops. Sometimes rice we see on our sandier soils, we'll see some sulfur deficiency and have some needs for some sulfur, but especially important on our sandy soils, our low organic matter soils, and especially, again, with corn and wheat. Zinc is something we see deficiencies of fairly commonly, especially with rice and corn. This is primarily an issue on our higher pH soils. It's our silt loam soils. That's where we really see generally our zinc deficiency problems. That's where there's a lot of ways you can get zinc out there. Granular products such as MESZ, which we sell, it has nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, and zinc. It's a very good way of getting zinc out there. Also, the several foliar products that you can use to get zinc out there. So, again, rice and corn, high pH soils is where this is an issue. Finally, boron has become an issue over the last 10 to 15 years in soybeans, again, especially on these high pH silt loam soils, kind of like where we see the zinc problems. We're seeing some boron deficiency on some of these fields, so we need to take care of that before we see it, preferably. Now, there are some remedies once you've got it, if you can get it early enough, but you want to try to prevent these, and again, there's a granular product we sell called Aspire that has potassium and boron in it, and that's a very good product that has university research to bear it out, to support it. So that's a good way of handling the boron issue. There's also some foliar boron products that can be very good as well, especially after a deficiency is seen. Or if you forget to put the granular out there, go ahead and put that foliar boron in with your first herbicide application. So that's just some of the nutrient issues that we deal with in our crops in our area for just kind of a broad overview, a quick overview of some of the things we look at there. So for more information on any of these fertility issues, feel free to contact me through Farmers Supply Association. And this has been Randy Klepeczka with your Farmers Supply Association Agriculture Report for January.
Amy Radola, White River Area Agency on Aging. And I would tell you what she did, but that would be more than a mouthful than what I could say today. Amy, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit, first of all, tell us a little bit about Amy Radola and where you grew up and things of that nature.
I grew up in a very small town called Gravely, Arkansas. It is in Yale County. It's on the west side of Arkansas. Very, very small school. Way out in the sticks, and then I ended up here 6 years ago. So.
How in the world did you get from up there to over here?
I needed to upgrade.
There you go. There you go. So now tell me the name of the school again.
Before we consolidated, it was Fush Valley School. Then we consolidated to Plainview Rover.
Okay. Wow, I tell you what, you're talking about small schools, and then I guess non-football playing schools and basketball playing schools?
When we started doing the consolidation, there was lots of small schools, so they were able to consolidate. Though we weren't fully consolidated yet, we could still travel to one of the smaller schools and play football there. So.
Okay. Well, what we want to do is find out a little bit about what you do, and then we want to find out how you got into doing what you do. So tell us what you do at the White River Area Agency on Aging.
Okay. I am the Long-Term Care Regional Ombudsman here for Region 2. As an ombudsman, each state is responsible for having their own ombudsman program. It's part of the Older American Act. And we advocate for residents who are in long-term care facilities. So whether it's a nursing home, an assisted living, or residential care facilities, we go in there and make sure that their rights as residents are being protected and that they're not being violated. We go in and investigate their complaints, their concerns, because we want them to be happy where they're at.
Okay. So how do people get to you? How do you get to represent or as such, or how do you get to have a client in your position?
Well, anybody can contact me. In each facility I cover, there is a poster with my picture and my contact information. The resident can contact me or someone on behalf of the resident, whether it's a staff member, another resident, whether it's family, or even church groups that go into the nursing homes and they see something that might be a violation of their right. So anybody can contact me. And if it's something I can do over the phone, I can do it there, or if it needs my attention, I'll go into the facility and open up an investigation.
Amy, certainly important to those people who maybe don't have as much say-so in what goes on in places, but obviously what you provide is a big plus to those residents or those people that need those services. It's a great service that you guys provide here.
Right, and we try to educate the residents to be their own voice, to be able to voice their concerns without fear of retaliation. And then I also like to encourage them to advocate for other residents, because I can't be in every facility every single day, but if they're able to look after those who are unable to voice for themselves, then that really helps me and helps the other residents.
How in the world did you get into doing that, and what inspired you along the way to get into this type of employment?
Before I came here, I was working in a nursing home doing admissions and marketing, and I enjoyed being in the nursing home, but I felt like the residents needed more. And I had worked alongside the previous ombudsman, and I guess I made an impression on Ted, and he let me come and be part of their little group here. So
yeah, their little group is a great organization, and I know you say that in jest, and certainly some wonderful people to work not only for but with, and if you find anybody for the rest of your life that's any better than Ted Hall, I bet I'd take the job.
Gotcha.
If you find somebody better than that guy, because you won't.
And I think that you're right on that, because it's been wonderful so far. So.
Well, I know that since we've been doing the program and coming over and the changes that White River has made, I mean, it's just amazing the positive attitudes that you have around the community. Here at Batesville, of course, we're in Newport also that I'm familiar with, and lots of counties. We're in 11 different counties, I think.
We do 10.
10 different counties, and but anyway, the work that you guys do are simply it's amazing what you do for those people out there in the public that need help, and lots of different services, obviously, that you provide, and then. I appreciate you taking time to visit with us. And if somebody needed to call you, or what would they call here? How do they call you? How would they get in touch with you?
Well, my phone number is posted on, of course, the posters. You can also find me on the White River Area Agency website or on the Long-Term Care Ombudsman website. But my direct phone number here is 870-612-3041. And may I add something real quick?
Absolutely.
Okay,
you
so
sure can.
part of our program also has volunteers. And we ask our volunteer ombudsmen to go into their facility of choice a few hours a week and visit with the residents, get to know them, walk around the facilities, because again, that's more eyes in the facilities that can relay information to us. So if anybody wants to be a part of that, more than welcome to call me as well.
We have asked on this program before about volunteers for this particular what we're talking about here, and we need people. We need people to volunteer.
Yes.
We need people that are willing to help. We need people that are willing to love and help other people that maybe not that can't help themselves or whatever. So, and again, volunteering, just get in touch with you here and finding that phone number or getting on the website and get in touch with you. And then hope you folks will have enough heart. If you've got a few spare minutes during the course of your week, we'd certainly like the opportunity to visit with you and maybe share some of those minutes with you. Amy,
yes, please.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
And
nice
welcome
to see you.
to the program, and we'll talk again.
All right, thank
White
you.
River Area Agency on Aging in Newport and Batesville.